Yo, it's first time being to the channel. Leave a like and subscribe. We finna get into why T-Scam shot up a funeral. Not sure if there's a reason why you would do that, but anyways, let's get into the reaction.
Considered to be the leading rapper in Active Gang, close runner-up was T-Scam. While Suspect's reputation as a knife-wielding murderer on the run made his music alluring to fans of the realist gangster rap, by contrast it was T-Scam's association with firearms and shootings that he always seemed to get away with that made him stand out. This contrast is even something Suspect would actually rap about in his song Z to A, saying outright that he's more of a stabber while T-Scam prefers to snap it, a reference to loading a sawn-off shotgun. T-Scam had seemingly
They're perfect for each other. One nigga stabbing people and the other one is just nice with the gun, huh? This shit never stops.
Already been implicated in firearms charges after a 2020 arrest where a revolver was found buried in a park, but the following year T-Scam would be seen on social media celebrating 4 not guilty verdicts, ping on the biggest song of his career, Freestyle, that he was looking at 15 years, but his lawyer made the charges vanish like dynamo, with this song coming out literally just a day after the mass shooting at his Ops block party, where members of Active Gang had publicly responded to a post on their Ops Snapchat page inviting them to the party, an incident which T-Scam would seemingly reference in his plugged-in freestyle just months later. Arguably, with Suspect captured in January 2022, T-Scam would end up being the leading flag bearer for Acting Gang's rappers, along with Broad Day Assassin. And it would seem as Suspect was about to go in, T-Scam was just coming out, as in early 2022, T-Scam would be seen on an IG live video, seemingly fresh home from unknown charges and appearing to be trying to keep his location secret.
What does it mean, unknown charges? How are the charges unknown? Are y'all unable to look up specific cases in the UK or some shit? How does this nigga not know what charges he was locked up on?
Wait.
Man just Blitz is doing a little something for his thing, innit? Man can't even give out location and stu tough,
no,
but
obviously, you know the thing, come on.
No, I gotta stay low.
Unfortunately, due to his reputation in the streets, T-Scam would be a high-profile target for his rivals, and eventually they would catch up to him in an unexpected location. At 6:25 PM, Friday the 21st of January 2022, a brawl would erupt in the middle of upmarket London department store Selfridges, with the entire fight being captured on CCTV. CCTV captured the moment that Ghost, affiliated with the 51st postcode, charged at T-Scam and his friend A-Kid. The footage would capture a knife in his hand with numerous members of each entourage scuffling all over the store in front of shocked members of the public and staff. Apparently, T-Scam and his friends were already in Selfridges when the 51st members arrived. T-Scam and his crew were surrounded and blocked by leaving from them, and at one point it appeared the confrontation was over, but as the 71st members retreated, Ghost would allegedly bring a knife from his pocket and charge towards T-Scam, who tripped over a footstool. Ghost would then slash at T-Scam and the brawl would break out. A-Kid would attempt to step between the two, but would then become a target of the attack himself. Ghost would slash A-Kid and then attempt to stab T-Scam again, making a stabbing motion no less than 4 times. A-Kid was stabbed in his left thigh, and T-Scam would be stabbed in his leg and arm, and the footage would show one of the injured men quickly removing their puffer coat and night tech tracksuit, trying to assess their injuries.
See,
while members of
this is exactly what I'm talking about, man. Put the knives down and shoot me. I would rather get shot than to be stabbed. Like, you know how fucked up it is to stab a nigga, gang? Just You gotta have some real hate in your heart. If I'm going out, shoot me. What the fuck you mean he had to remove his jacket to monitor the stabs in him? Some fucked up shit, man.
Staff began to surround them and shut down the area. Both would be taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries and were later discharged. And T-Scam was later arrested along with Ghost. Throughout the entire situation, T-Scam allegedly had a knife in his bag, which is why he was arrested. Both were bailed pending further inquiries, and soon paperwork could circulate online with ops claiming that T-Scam had snitched. But if you read it closely, it actually just says that while receiving first aid, he says that he was shopping and got stabbed by a group of boys who had asked him who he was. Ghost ended up being identified from his mobile phone, which was
that's snitching. That's snitching. The fuck you mean he was by a group of men unidentified? That's a rat. That's a rat. You're not supposed to say anything. I'll go to the hospital, to the police, none of it. You rat it.
Tracked from Oxford Street back to his home in North London, and he would ultimately plead guilty to unlawful wounding and having an offensive weapon, and ending up being sentenced to 2.5 years for his role in the incident. Damn. But even from behind bars, Ghost would go on to drop a jailhouse freestyle referencing the incident and rapping that he caught 2 men in a day, as well as discussing how he felt after the murder of culprit.
You see this life I live, you wouldn't understand it. Got me on the landing, cause my shank got brandished. 2 man in a day, man, the drill's fantastic. Locked up for a while, they got me on my door banging. Got me sitting down thinking about all of the bitches I gave inches, and all the times I aimed it at skulls trying to wig 'em. I swear it's so hard to get yourself out the system. It's a non-stop cycle. I got this weapon, it beats, I call it Michael. Exercise yard, it's raining packs like Skyfall. Just today, couple fake use, but I can't blame no one, cause it's all my fault. Looked up to my older brothers, cause they were my idols. And when we lost hopes, I learned it's a game of survival. I was on the road when I was crashing up daily, but it was on induction when I caught S-Wavy. 2 times I had them rocking like a baby. I done it with 2 times, we done it so bately. I don't think I can never leave the streets, cause more time, it's the streets that pays me. I gotta flick this pagey to remain cakey. So much verbal in the trap, but it can never phase me.
No way.
Cause I know what we done in these streets, and I know what you done in the streets. Much cause this war ain't a joke, you can never be weak. 5 racks in a week, you can't chat to me, cause I'm a trap boy, I learned how to fly straight. Well educated, so I always got high grade.
Even with active...
No, shut up, Trap Lord. Send me this nigga right now. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Maybe outside of just regular drill, from like the melodical songs that I've listened to, yeah, I need some more of that. And whoever that was, send me that freestyle, send me his music, all that immediately. That shit was tough. That shit was, But I'm a sucker for like melodical music just in general though. That shit was nasty.
Gang's most famous rapper Suspect, now incarcerated, T-Scam and Broad Day were carrying the flag for the blocks in the 71st postcode. Meanwhile, the estates from 51st hadn't had a prominent rapper get mainstream attention for several years, ultimately leaving the beef from a music point of view fairly one-sided. However, that would all change in January 2022 when Chinx would return to the music scene after a 4-year stint in jail. He had been caught with a firearm, a loaded Walther P38 with intent to endanger life, and jailed for 8 years in 2017, allegedly receiving the heavy sentence after previous convictions for robbery and assault. His sentence was even extended by 4 months after he absconded from jail to see his family, fleeing from an open prison that he was transferred to 3 years into his sentence. Funnily enough, Chinx actually returned to prison the next day, admitting to law enforcement that he had succumbed to depression and made a big mistake. He would be shipped back.
This nigga escaped jail and walked back? What the fuck? How do you escape jail? I need to do some more research on the UK jail systems. That's crazy. The nigga just walked out? What type of shit is that? And you telling me once he got out, what he thought about was spinning again after doing 8 years in the pen? His first thought was, let me go make some music and spin on these niggas. Come on.
Back to a higher security prison to serve out the remainder of his sentence, plus an additional 4 months. But eventually his time would be served, with Chinx reportedly being released on license in October 2021, and he would appear on social media in January 2022, showcasing a fresh home freestyle that would later form part of his Mad About Bars freestyle with Kenny Allstar. It wouldn't take long for beef to ignite between active gang members and Chinx from 51st, or One Side, or OS as he would now refer to his hood as. On the 6th of January 2022, Chinx releases a new song and music video, Secrets Not Safe, on YouTube, as well as teasing it on Instagram and Facebook. The song is an aggressive diss track aimed squarely at members of Active Gang. On the song, he calls out a handful of Active Gang members who he had apparently shot at. He says that the same gun that he used to show Suspect is the same one that was used to shoot and hit Blitz, and claiming that Suspect still met up with him after the 2 71st members were killed, AK and S45, while Suspect was in prison. Even claiming that Sus had turned to Chinx for help when he got out of jail years before their beef, even in spite of the murders of AK and S.
I wish I would have reacted to this before I reacted to that song, but then I feel like it would have spoiled me. But a lot of that went over my head. He said this nigga linked up with him after he used the gun to kill his homies. That's fucking crazy. Come on, Suspect. I don't believe it.
4-5, and Chinx would also deny rumours that he had been stabbed in the chest. This song was a brutal diss track, but much like Suspect and T-Scam's music, it saw Chinx rapping with an incredibly aggressive flow over a booming UK drill beat produced to a high standard with an infectious sample. Despite the high standard of art on display, ultimately it was still a violent song that dissed rivals and areas by name. And unsurprisingly, once again, the music video was taken down from YouTube like so many before it, with YouTube citing a breach of its policy on harassment and bullying. But it wasn't just this song. Chinx would later claim that Instagram had censored both the song and deleted his account without warning after this release. But the song had already gotten out, and members from Active Gang would begin to respond, with Suspect tweeting he doesn't care what a rapper has to say and that he's still smoking on Culprit. Chinx was actually very close to Culprit before he was killed, and he was clearly upset by these comments. So he would proceed to post a damaging clip to social media aimed squarely at Suspect, depicting a young Suspect being bullied by older gang members on his block who made him do squats and hip thrusts at gunpoint, along with the caption, "Behave little man."
Show the video! Send me a link. I want to see it. Y'all can't. No. I can't watch a documentary on what's happening and you keep blurring everything out. If in the comments right now, drop the video of this nigga doing squats. I need to see that. All this ties into who won the beef. By the way, I'm gonna tell y'all who I think won the beef after I react to all this shit.
Remember who you were around here, with Suspect ultimately clapping back and saying that his old friend Chinx is mad that his new friend Culprit got killed and that he's smoking on him, and saying that Chinx is triggered. This was just weeks before Suspect was caught and shipped back to the UK, and after Suspect had taken the L of a lifetime, Chinx was loading up new music and ready to take big steps forward with his newfound music career. On January the 30th, dropping a new song, Lock and Load, along with a music video, where he refers to Suspect's debut track Way Too Charged, saying that they got back and killed people affiliated with Suspect, and now they have members in jail smoking dead ops, and saying once again that Suspect met up with him after Blitz got shot, referring to that 2017 shooting that Chinx was rumoured to have been involved in. Chinx was emerging as a very talented rapper, and he was picking incredible beats, and for the first time there would be some genuine competition on the music side of the beef between One Side and Active Gang. On February the 13th, 2022, Chinx would make a big splash, appearing on Mad About Bars with Kenny Allstar, rapping lyrics that he had teased upon his release, coming out with brazen lyrics where he suggested that he still keeps guns while on license or probation, even though he's being watched by the police, and claiming that his 51st or One Side members are still catching their ops and selling drugs in the streets. He would also claim that Broad Day was lying when he said earlier on his song No Hook that he should have been practicing Dean, but he was in combo spraying machines, as well as dropping disrespectful bars referring to the early stages of the Camden gang war, saying that he's done drills with a 4-5 pendant, a reference to the death of S45, perhaps indicating that Chinx had actually stolen a commemorative necklace from an AG member and worn it while riding out, and seemingly referring to the shooting of Blitz again, saying he shot up his op blocks numerous times, and after hitting him in the face, he had his neighbours calling the police. A detail which is indeed confirmed in news reports and recounted in numerous witness statements relating to that incident. Chinx and One Side were beginning to pick up steam in the music game, and soon after, other prominent members affiliated with the 51st postcode estates would make noise in music too. On February the 27th, 2022, Gutter drops his song Insight, which included censored lyrics aimed at his ops. In one lyric, he appeared to claim that his gang had killed 4 direct ops and 1 affiliate, a reference to the murders of Mitch as well as AK and S45, rapping "We got 2 in a van," and going on to say that they killed Nuts, with the 5th likely being Dirts. That track was followed up on March the 6th, 2022, when Chinx dropped his new song, Absent. The concept of the song sees Chinx playing on the fact that most of Active Gang, including Suspect, are in prison or absent, and saying that them dissing him from jail isn't valid. He also raps that he used to send Suspect to the shop, but perhaps in an effort to ensure that more of his music didn't get removed by the authorities, this song was a bit more general rather than pointing out specific ops. But it did include gritty lyrics referring broadly to shootings, multiple stabbings, and life in jail. Combine that with Chinx's aggressive...
I don't know why he's trying to censor it from the cops. I mean, I guess if YouTube's taking it down, because that's a real thing. Like, that's the hardest part about getting these reactions out to y'all. Y'all might have to start sending me some, like, direct links, because I'd be trying to find a lot of these videos, and the shit's nowhere to be found. But anyways, I don't know why he's worried about the cops. The nigga ran out of jail. He's the one who decided to go back. The hell is he worried about them for? Clearly, they're not doing enough. They clearly don't give a fuck. There's no way you're going to convince me, because this is happening from a time frame that 14-year-olds, 16-year-olds, and 18-year-olds are outsmarting these grown-ass cops. There's no chance. Clearly y'all have some corruption
flow
going on.
And a hard UK drill beat with a drum pattern reminiscent of Pop Smoke's biggest hits, it was clear that Chinx was developing a winning formula for UK drill music, and he would show no signs of taking his foot off the gas. On March the 24th, 2022, Chinx drops his song Usual Culprits, a song dedicated to his fallen friend who died at the hands of Suspect and his Active Gang co-defendants, Culprit. The music video for Usual Culprits opens with Chinx visiting Culprit's grave.
Oh man, come on.
And
this is like the worst thing to do if you have ops. Now why would you put that man's grave up there while you walking up to it, knowing they finna diss the fuck out you? Come on man, you gotta do better.
Ends the video with a tribute to his fallen friend.
Oh fuck, he done showed all types of pictures of him.
Unsurprisingly, this song is wall-to-wall with lyrics dissing Active Gang members directly. He also shouts out Flipper, who is serving time for the murder of AK from 71st, and he ends the track by saying Suspect should have got shot too. And finally, in the outro, making a clear statement and saying rest in peace to Culprit. In many ways, Chinx was beginning to use the music to turn around the narrative about his crew from 51st being victims of the beef, as Suspect and Active Gang had become some of the most famous figures in UK drill drill, mainly off the back of the murder of culprit and subsequently evading the charges for over 2 years, all while rapping about these murders and dissing culprit by name. For many, until Chinx came along, they were completely unaware that there were actually two deadly sides to this beef. And now, Chinx was giving Suspect a taste of his own medicine, turning the tables and rapping recklessly with impeccable skill all about the losses that Suspect and his crew had suffered in the streets, and enjoying his freedom while Suspect now suffered in jail, awaiting his trial, and while T-Scam appeared to be in and out of jail, releasing very little music in the year of 2023. And as 2022 went on, it became very clear that this was Chinx's year. On May the 1st, 2022, Chinx drops a Plugged In with Fumes the Engineer. He also once again mocks fallen member AK, and once again, denying being stabbed in the chest. He would also attempt to beat Suspect at his own game, attempting to end the song using a sophisticated run of lyrical wordplay, using all of the titles of songs from Suspect's debut album, Suspicious Activity.
He's spoiling it. Calm down, man. And also, what do you mean he's denying getting stabbed in the chest? That's an easy... Show the chest. Pop it out like these. On some Superman shit. You don't gotta deny that, just show the proof. If he hasn't shown any proof, I think he got stabbed. Because, like, if a nigga said he stabbed me, and he didn't, nigga, fuck is you talking about?
And turning those lyrics around to diss Suspect. Hot off the back of his Plugged In, Chinx would then attempt to release another high-profile single, this time coming up against a harsh response from the police and social media giants. On August 25th, 2022, Chinx would release a new song titled Fish O Fillet, inspired by the worst item on the McDonald's menu, filet of fish. Using the fish-based patty as a metaphor for stabbing and killing his ops, a reference to the slang splash, or swimming, to describe a stabbed enemy soaked in blood. Now, interestingly, this particular song didn't include nearly as many references to murdered rivals as some of his previous songs and freestyles, but overall there were minimal references to dead ops or specific op blocks. And by this point, having spent 8 months building up his music career, Chinx had graduated from making hood videos to full-scale, big-budget productions with an entire video team recreating ride-out scenarios, filming in music studios with a rain machine, and professional dancers. However, regardless of the steps that Chinx had made to legitimize himself in the music industry, it seemed that the Met Police, tired with Camden drill rappers' antics, would target his music no matter the content. And Chinx would confirm that the song Fish O Fillet got taken down within 2 weeks of upload in September 2022, sharing the message sent from the channel hosting the video, GRM Daily, saying that the police had reached out directly and told them that the song has references to real gangs and crimes. Interestingly, after this latest song takedown, the story of drill music being censored would become national news. In the face of growing anger at social media companies censoring beyond the boundaries of what the law allows, a non-profit called the Center for Democracy and Technology would actually publish a report on the removal of Chinx's January song, Secret's Not Safe, claiming that the police told Meta to take down the song due to the video containing a veiled threat referencing a 2017 shooting, but Chinx appealed and Meta put the video back up. This led the police to apply pressure to Meta and make them take it down again, despite it not actually breaking Meta's policies, with the report ultimately concluding that the law enforcement were using the platform's terms of service to restrict content in a way that stepped far beyond the national law. The story of this extrajudicial censorship would soon become big news, and in response, Meta launched an internal investigation to determine if the police in this case had actually overstepped their powers, with Meta later revealing that they had removed 52 posts, including Chinx's song manually, and another 112 posts relating to his music, which were removed by automated systems. Meta would eventually escalate the decision to their own oversight board, and in the end, Meta's oversight board would overturn the decision and reinstate the video against the wishes.
Bro, how are they mad at Meta because they not doing their job? The fuck, he rapping about the shit that y'all couldn't catch him for, so let the nigga rap. Shit. Y'all knew this nigga did all this shit so much, clearly he wouldn't be out and about. So fuck it, let that nigga rap, man. Mad that you niggas can't do your job.
Saying that the removals were a mistake, as the post did not violate Meta's community guidelines and that they were essentially allowing a police operation to censor free speech. Interestingly, Meta's investigation into the issue found that the Met Police in this campaign of systemic oppression of freedom of speech had actually had 255 music videos removed, all of which were drill music. Ironically, the hype around the heavy-handed enforcement of these takedowns soon became national news and led to numerous media organizations profiling Chinx, only boosting his exposure and legitimizing him in the mainstream media, with one particularly high-production mini-documentary being made about Chinx for the BBC, which profiled his creative approach to marketing the song that was ultimately taken down. Ironically, even the reinstatement and extra publicity Chinx received in the aftermath stoked national outrage, as one Daily Mail article argued rather absurdly that left-leaning liberals and their chums were conspiring to platform dangerous gang members. In an article which was arguably racist, even describing Chinx as having a Ali G style accent in his BBC interview. After all of this, Chinx would reflect on his experiences and claim to make an effort to clean up his lyrics to avoid getting his songs taken down. He would also reveal that since the police...
Clean up your life. Nigga said clean up his lyrics. Nigga, you need to clean up your life. Nigga, the lyrics ain't the problem. How you living is. What the fuck? Nigga, music get taken down and he's like, oh, I gotta change this. Nigga's friends gets killed. Oh shit, I gotta get back. Nigga, then you could see the change there, but not the change in your life. The fuck?
Discovered that he's making music, they've made it part of his license or bail conditions not to say certain things. Going forward, Chinx would make light of these restrictive conditions.
This is the stupidest part of this video. Literally, it's free speech. You can say whatever the fuck you want. Well, I mean, I know you can say whatever the fuck you want in America. I don't know if that's how it works in the UK. But generally, right, you can say whatever the fuck you want. Who gives a fuck if it's related about a crime? Nigga, that's not his fault. You nigga should have caught that nigga. If not, let him rap.
Conditions on his art, even recording a skit mocking the police's heavy-handed approach to shutting down his music.
Chinx,
What, man?
we're breaching your license conditions. You can't be putting up gun signs.
Oh, allow it, bro. I beg you, off.
Ironically, however, with the police seemingly putting all of their attention on reading lyrics made by Chinx and one side, they would fail to pay close attention to their most dangerous rivals from 71st, and soon we would see one of the most shocking public incidents targeting one side members, which would make national news. On the 14th of January 2023, around 300 people were attending the funeral service of Sarah Sanchez and her mother, Frisia Calderon, who had both died less than 1 month apart. Frisia had died suddenly from a rare blood clot upon arrival at Heathrow Airport from Colombia, and Sarah died from leukemia, which she had been suffering from for 3 years. Their deaths themselves were not gang-related in any way, and they were just an unfortunate tragedy within the community. But according to rumours, the girl involved in the case had connection to gang members from 51st who were due to attend the funeral. The funeral was taking place at St. Aloysius Church on Phoenix Road in Euston, when shortly before 1:30 p.m, a black Toyota CHR drove past with someone shooting out of the car in the direction of the people crowded at the funeral with a shotgun. 6 people were injured, and the shooting audio and its aftermath were captured on CCTV.
With a shotgun? Nigga, you sprayed at a funeral with a shotgun? That's the most least effective shit you could have did. You came there with a switch on that bitch, you would have hit so many more people. Something. An AR, nigga, even a pistol would have been better than a shotgun. Fuck is you going there with a shotgun? Y'all niggas don't got AKs and Drakes or some shit? Out the spraying at a crowd with a shotgun. Nigga. Shit, that motherfucker kicking though. Said boom. Oh shit. Come on, let's get past it.
As was mobile phone footage captured from inside the church, showing panic unfolding.
Oh my god, it
drive-by
said 4 women and the nigga spun and didn't hit nobody he wanted to. Are you serious? You hit the kids and the women. You didn't actually get anybody that you were targeting. That's why you shouldn't have brought a shotgun. What the fuck? At least hit the niggas you wanted to go spin on. Did you just aim randomly at the crowd? Man, lock this nigga the fuck up. That shit just pissed me off. If you're gonna shoot at the ops, shoot at the ops, my nigga. Don't shoot at the kids.
A shooting had taken place. An air ambulance would attend the scene and be filmed arriving to the church by members of the public waiting outside. Among the casualties, there was a 7-year-old girl who was seriously injured, an 11-year-old girl who suffered a leg injury but was discharged within days, a 48-year-old woman who suffered life-changing injuries, and 3 women aged 54, 41, 21 who were taken to hospital. All injuries would fortunately prove non-fatal. The only people in the attack who were injured were innocent women who had simply come to pay their respects. This was a brutal and senseless shooting and would make international news with coverage on major broadcasters Sky News and Channel 4.
A peaceful memorial service.
Oh my god. This nigga spun on the ops and missed. That would have had to go on a diss track for me. That's like the most embarrassing shit you can do. Nigga planned it out. You knew when the funeral was. You had the whole setup. You had the car ready, the driver ready. You was hanging out the window and missed everybody you wanted to hit. 2 little girls, my nigga, do better.
That ended like this, as mourners ran screaming after a suspected drive-by shooting outside a church in Euston. 6 people were injured, 4 women and a 7-year-old girl in a life-threatening condition. A 12-year-old's also been discharged from hospital with a minor leg injury. The memorial service was that of a mother and daughter who died within a month of each other last year. 20-year-old Sarah Sanchez passed away from leukemia in November. As behind the police cordon, forensic officers assessed the scene and looked for evidence, an appeal for information went out to the community to help bring justice to those responsible.
So far, the Met Police have told journalists that shots were fired from a moving vehicle. They've identified the model of the car and the type of gun used. We know that the black Toyota was driving this way towards the church. There were people gathered outside after the memorial service, and then whoever was in the car pulled out a shotgun and sprayed pellets into the crowd.
Channel 4 would speak to the shocked locals who couldn't believe such a brazen attack had taken place in central London.
Dorothea Hackman runs the food bank next door to the church.
A gun fired in broad daylight on our streets. The only person I've spoken to was utterly traumatized by it.
You know what? This is not funny. Wait, this is not funny. But it is kind of funny to hear, like, how y'all speak about guns in the UK. Like you said, a gun was shot broad daylight in our streets. I kid you not. Like, maybe, I mean, America's not the worst thing in the world, right? But gunshots are not uncommon to see, like, at all. Like, at fucking all down here. I've seen multiple corner stores get shot up in front of my eyes, like, verbatim, just watching it. I've also been at the park and shots just go the fuck off. My house has also been shot at. Not directly, but, you know, neighborhood. Is it really that crazy that a gun went off? Like, she's talking about it like this is a mystical thing. You know, get a grip.
And they were inside or outside?
Inside.
Dorothea describes how people from the service were sprinting away from the church in fear.
Well,
The person that you spoke to, how are they feeling?
So shaken that I
What
don't
the
think she'll
fuck?
come outdoors.
What the fuck type of question is that? How do you think they were feeling? They just got shot at, my nigga. Bitch, how do you think they feeling? Who be hiring these interviewers, man? What type of shit is that to ask somebody just after they get shot at? Ooh, are you feeling okay, bitch?
For a long time.
With local MP and Labour Party leader Keir Starmer once again appearing at the scene and speaking out on the incident to the news, calling for tougher gun laws.
This morning, the Labour leader Keir Starmer went to a briefing on the shooting. Camden is his constituency, and he nodded to the bigger picture.
I've always said we should toughen up our gun laws. I mean, the tragic incident in my constituency yesterday is ongoing. Our thoughts are, of course, with all those concerned.
A funeral shooting.
I never understood this. What is toughening up the gun laws going to do? Doesn't that just hurt the people who are, like, regular civilians? You know what I mean? Because, like, the criminals, they're going to get guns regardless. Like, no matter how bad, no matter how strict your gun laws are, they're going to get guns. Clearly. Now, me personally, if I'm in that situation, I want to be able to shoot back at that nigga viciously, blowing that bitch. I would hate to be stuck in a situation, right, where this nigga's allowed to get a gun and I'm not. What do I do then? You know, like, how do I fight back? You just sit there? If a nigga just runs up in a crowd with a gun there, you know, y'all are fucked. Y'all are fucked. I know if a nigga runs up in a crowd where I'm at, I'm going to shoot that nigga. Me personally. But I feel like if you just make the gun laws tighter, right, and you restrict everyone from getting guns, you just lose the way to defend yourself. It doesn't really help you with stopping gun violence, right? I don't really think it... Because if it was, this wouldn't be happening, right?
Of this sort was reminiscent of the shooting at the funeral of Chicago gangster disciple Dusky the Man.
Local musician known as Dusky the Man was letting out. His real name is Van Treese Chris. He was killed by gunfire earlier this month. Witnesses today heard a couple of shots at first, apparently fired into the crowd. Then many more, several dozen more shots. Investigators have placed markers indicating where shell casings are located, but so far they have no one in custody.
A level of violence rarely seen on the streets of London. Many people would initially believe that this brazen shooting was cartel related due to Frasia's deceased husband's confirmed connections to the Colombian Cali Cali cartel, as her husband Carlos was apparently jailed in the UK for helping launder money for a drug gang with connections to the cartel. However, months would pass before an alternative narrative would emerge that some say connect this incident to the ongoing gang war in Camden. But before the police would identify a suspect in that case, the war in Camden would play out in songs as much as it would in the streets. With suspects still in jail, facing a potentially huge sentence, the only rappers in active gangs still free with a significant buzz were T-Scam and Broad Day. The latter of which, to be fair, had a successful 2022, releasing high-profile songs like the Super Gremlin remix with Lil Dots, which became his most viewed music video to date, as well as dropping a successful plugged-in session with Fumes the Engineer, which racked up an impressive 1.5 million views. But ultimately, the rise of Chinx had proven to be unstoppable. And on February the 24th, 2023, Chinx would release his debut project, One-Sided Story, with the title referencing the idea that until he got out of jail, people had only really understood the gang war in Camden from the perspective of Suspect and Active Gang. And this project included many of the tracks that we've already discussed in this chapter, like Secrets Not Safe, Usual Culprits, and Fish O'Fillet, which all painted a picture of the 51st or one side of the war and dropped maximum disrespect towards Active Gang and its members. But in addition to the content on the album discussing the intricacies of Camden's gang politics, overall it was an incredible body of work, as by this point only Suspect, after getting captured, had released a full album in the form of Suspicious Activity. However, now Chinx had dropped off a full-length 17-track album which was solid both lyrically and production-wise from start to finish, with other particular standout tracks being Trap Fashion and Levels, which are personal favourites of mine. However, despite dropping off this full-length and high-quality body of work, and the following month Chinx would return to the booth, releasing more music that seemed to acknowledge the funeral shooting that was rumoured to be targeting One Side members. On March the 5th, 2023, Chinx drops a Daily Duppy freestyle where he seemingly calls this incident a failed mission, admonishing his ops and saying that they only hit kids and girls.
I agree.
And Chinx would go on to mock Suspect following his latest release, taking to Snapchat days later, saying that he used to send Suspect to the shops and let him keep the change. That same month, on March the 15th, 2023, T-Scam drops a fresh plugged-in freestyle with Fumes the Engineer, dissing Chinx and referencing his area and album title One-Sided Story, and saying his one-sided story will have a sad ending, and going on to say when he's in one side, he shoots on sight, even claiming that Chinx must be sour because when he was fresh home from jail, he had to lay flowers at Culprit's grave because active gang members killed him, with this being a direct reference to the music video Chinx had made for his track Usual Culprits, where he laid flowers on Culprit's grave, as well as rapping Free Yevs, who had earlier gone to that music video shoot in 51st and stabbed someone. T-Scam would end the verse saying that he stabbed and even claiming that his mother was there to witness it, a bar that was so brutal even Fumes the Engineer had to get up and walk out of his chair after hearing it. Whilst the freestyle itself didn't reference the shooting at the funeral, Chinx had seemingly referenced it in his Daily Duppy, and in the days following the release of that plugged in, another freestyle from T-Scam would leak online titled One Side Ain't Safe, which included lyrics describing an incident where they nearly killed Chinx, and saying, once again, that Hitman from Active Gang nearly killed him. But worst of all, the song also featured a hook where T-Scam would rap that his ops don't know how to protect their girls, a lyric which some people believed was another direct reference to that funeral shooting. One Side Ain't Safe was never released as an official song, but ultimately, just the day after T-Scam's Plugged In released, London police would swoop in and take him off the streets, as on March the 16th, 2023, Active Gang's T-Scams and another man by the name of Reeks would be arrested in connection to the shooting, with the footage of their arrest by an armed unit going viral on UK drill pages.
This nigga fighting the police. See, look, I'm gonna say this. You lucky this wasn't in America, nigga. I'll tell you that right now. Hey, we can't do all this shit. You would have shot our ass immediately. As soon as you would have cussed, he's fighting! He's reaching! Pow! It wouldn't have been all that, man. Corroborate, please. Please, stop. This is wild to see, man. And see that dude right there at the top left? You would have sprayed him the fuck up on the ground. That's their favorite time to shoot a nigga. That's their favorite time. Clearly, he's a danger. You know, clearly he's a harmful right there. You know what I mean? I'm fucking crazy. Oh, cameraman, keep the camera straight.
It's believed 3 men were accused of playing a role in the funeral shooting, one of them being T-Scam. Each of them were charged with 6 counts of Section 18 wounding with intent. One of those co-defendants appears at Willesden Magistrate Courts on March the 15th, 2023, charged with possession of a shotgun with intent to endanger life and 6 counts of conspiracy to wound with intent. T-Scam and Reeks, however, would fail to appear at this court date, later appearing at Harrow Crown Court for a plea hearing alongside the co-defendant. A provisional trial date was set for late 2023, and the prosecutors say that they plan on using 4 key strands of evidence evidence, gang activity, CCTV, cell site, and car data as forensic evidence. Someone had posted to Reddit that T-Scam had actually made an application for bail for the offence, but as it currently stands, it appears that he is still incarcerated. And due to Harrow Crown Court currently being closed due to unsafe concrete being found in the building, it's unclear whether this trial will be taking place anytime soon. At the time of writing this, it's still unclear what the outcome of that case is going to be. And once again, it's important to remember, at this stage, these are only allegations. T-Scam and his co-defendants are innocent until proven guilty, and it's highly possible that they may have evidence that proves they had nothing to do with the crimes they're being accused of. But what we do know, however, is the outcome of Suspect's trial. After being captured in 2022 and left in jail for over a year to await trial, in March 2023, Active Gang's most prominent member, who had evaded the police for 2 years, all while bragging about the murders that he did to an audience of millions, would finally face justice. And sadly for him, he would indeed get what he deserved.
Okay, that'll be it for the video. Do y'all know, did the case finish up yet? Does anyone know? Did he get confirmed guilty or not? Me personally, from all the evidence I just seen, clearly he did it. Clearly he seems like someone who would shoot up a funeral. I don't know why this nigga would talk about it in the song, so like that's the dumbest shit you could possibly fucking do. Which I've been here, like this has been a repeated pattern too. These niggas keep talking about the shit in songs. And clearly the police is listening to you niggas, so why keep doing it? But anyways, if y'all like the video, leave a like and subscribe. And whoever gets the most likes in the comments, I'll be back to your video next. Peace out.